the same sophistication and complexity and allure that Pirates readily demonstrates in full, demonstrated in a whole new facade, with orchestral versions throughout, reinventions in fact. And I do wonder, based on that caveat and the little I know about some of these numbers, if there will in fact be a heightened symphonic emphasis. That's my assumption going in, just based on numbers I'm familiarized to with the orchestral version terminology and the way they drift. I think we're going to really see a heightening of a favorite aspect for me within the metal world. I've made it no secret in that, though I keep an open door to any metal extreme, symphonic metal is my preferred favorite, namely of the orchestral vibe. And Visions of Atlantis, in our earliest introductions together just a number of months ago, beautifully delivered on that, I think. Now, music is very much a subjective experience, so feel free to chime in down below on what your thoughts were on that journey if you took it with me, whether you happen to be a longtime fan or sailor of theirs, or a developing fan like I am, or perhaps a first initiate. And if you are approaching with that footing, just so we're all on even footing, Austrian-based symphonic, melodic, and power metal influences, told with beautiful scoring, great concept immersion with a nice contemporary relatability expressed throughout deep human spirit and resonance, and masterful vocals, whether it be, namely the association here between two, Michele and Clementine, both work very well together in creating such a fantastic vision. No pun intended. That's just an inevitable word to use, Visions of Atlantis, at least in definition. But Pirates was a great examination. One that we took, you might remember, in two phases. First with, of course, the attributed and understood based on the fact that VOA, and again, to credit all the other sailors fairly on this, thank you for making them a top recommendation in my comment section. I would have fast-tracked, I think, in the beginning, but maybe not to the degree that I did if it hadn't been for the rampant requests, and understandable when you witness their work. They really impressed me on first initiation, right? Thinking back on the two-phase approach we took, whether it be the selection of 15 works, I think, from their most recent 3 albums, those being Of a Deep in the Dark, Wanderers, and Pirates. And then based on Pirates, and being able to then attribute the story of, hey, we will have entertained a Visions of Atlantis album in full, I decided to do an album deep dive. Warranted even more so when I examined those last 7 pieces, which the first 5 were great, but the final 7 were really impressive to me. So much so that now I am sitting in the window of a new year, 2 days in, and I'm examining in review what my favorite experiences were. And to credit everybody fairly, as I always say, there's not been one song or artist I've not loved recognizing, especially alongside you. Enjoying music collaboratively, one of the best journeys I've had thus far in evolution of our time together. But Pirates, I think, though it came out in 2022, it was probably my favorite survey of 2023, or one of them. I was very impressed by the capability of that album. And its reach, again, the concept, the masterful scoring. So many return appearances, too, on that album and instant replays that every time I listen to it again, I fall even more so in love with it. I love the vision of Pirates. Again, no pun intended. So much so, but of course, going into a Pirate Symphony, that's a compelling necessity to survey some of these numbers. Now, I chose a couple of these, and this one in particular. The final 2 we'll be getting to, and again, I'm going to humor this album in full like I'm going to the back catalog and the entirety of our previous considerations of Visions of Atlantis I've not yet recognized. That's a promise I made to you, and one that I will fulfill at some point. Probably on my own, honestly, because of the way things are on my schedule, and with consideration to Phase 2. There's, like Visions of Atlantis was on the this list as one such point, there are many other artists to cross the lands of. Anyway, there's so many puns you could make, especially with the Pirates caveat, but a Pirate Symphony, I'm like, I can plug in maybe 3 numbers or so. That'd probably be a good selection to entertain. And I chose these intentionally. The last 2 fall right in line with the group as well in terms of, I guess, particular shout-outs, given Ben Metzner's involvement. Ben Metzner from D'Artagnan, or by his other attribution, Hody of Feuerschwangs, I believe, flute and bagpipes, I think were credited, maybe some other instruments. We're getting to those numbers, in particular 2 of them, those being In My World and Heal the Scars. But even walking in, it was funny. I'm like, okay, those are the ones I picked in particular because I thought they would sound really great with the symphonic side, and it'd be fun to engage with those on such a deep level. But Melancholy Angel, I did listen to a very light clip of the iTunes sample, just again, pick out which ones I really wanted to recognize, and this one, I really like the score of Unoriginal Condition. Melancholy Angel has such a great reach to it as a number. It's a perfect balance between approachable and dark. I just love the mood of it on a score. It's a perfect number, one of them. Let's experience the voice together of Melancholy Angel and then get to the next 2 entries and hear Ben Metzner's involvement. But again, I thought this one would be quite interesting. I was going to do Master of the Hurricane, but I love that one. I love Master of the Hurricane. But That one I think is well, I mean, this one does too, but there's quite a deliberate symphonic voice on that one, especially with the softer sections. I'm like, with Melancholy Angel's harder pacing more readily exercised, I thought it'd be kind of fun to see how that's dropped and how the symphonic metal edge materializes in a grander focus with the orchestral allowment. Let's examine it together. Now, I will tell you on reference, if you've not yet witnessed Visions of Atlantis for yourself, you should listen to Melancholy Angel in preparation to this, so that you're an informed listener walking in where you can also analyze the comparisons I'm going to be making. And it would be worth your time, certainly to survey really anything, I would imagine, just by assumption of Visions of Atlantis, but certainly Pirates is a great album. I loved it. Best to enjoy with you, though, again, I'll let you approach how you wish to, whether individually or in company of myself, and others perhaps via the comment section. Music again. It's best enjoyed collaboratively. For Visions of Atlantis, I love these journeys. It's great to get a return. In a different form, let's witness the voice of Pirates, told differently with our initiation of the selection of work with Melancholy Angel. I recognize that! Not much of a shift there. Perfect. No deliberate percussion, instead reliant on the strings. Nice is nice. Yeah, this really makes it stand out a lot more. And it was perfectly fine again in the way it was first delivered, but... Oh, the nice... I don't think I noticed the chorus background first, the choir. Wow, this one... The entry is much softer than I thought it was originally. The percussion does a lot. This is really such a vivid work, especially from this aspect. It's evidently the same story. I feel like I'm listening to a movie score as I watch this, and again, they'd be perfect fit for any pirate movies. It's certainly gonna fall right in line. But when you really hear the strings presence, wow. Ah, it's beautiful. I've even more respected Melancholy Angel now than I did in the beginning. I'll have to give it a second listen like immediately to see again if I can recognize these symphonic tones. Because the vocals and the percussion lead the song a lot more, at least in the original form, than these do. Or at least they seem to. That's kind of the sensation I get out of it. But looking at it this way, it's entirely different. I really like the chorus voices here. I mean, it's such a beautiful echo. It was quite noticeable again in this bridge section because this is mostly percussion, no vocal involvement, again, void of the choir's respect. Wow. This really is a brilliant song. It's impressive to me to witness that one. Again, it's such a familiarized score. I know the backbone of it, but then to strip away the percussion and some of the other instrumental influences, notably the vocals, was really... I mean, did he cut away the pronounced guitar work, too, on that bridge section? I didn't notice that immediately. Let me see, just on a quick relook. Yes. Again, it's all strings. That is such a cinematic work of art, isn't it? That's really impressive of a number. And again, I liked Melancholy Angel in first appearances. I'm in an even greater reverence of it now, based on, again, on examining the string's backbone. That's really what it is. You know, superficially, it's, I would say, before walking into this, just on assumption that it's the percussion and the vocals that really lead the number. But no, it's the strings. Hearing it in isolation, each fret of it. You know, speaking of the beginning to our journey with Pirates, right? I think back to the video that was featured for Pirates Will Return and that live symphony. And I was so in love with it immediately, like, oh, okay, this is going to be great. And then to see it again in full performance was just, it was a whole nother experience. And one that, again, I reflect on with deep reverence, like I do this number. But to have it in isolation and to notice that deliberancy, I'm really curious to hear the other versions now of the numbers will be entertaining. Notably, In My World and Heal the Scars. Those ones I think are going to be particularly interesting. But this one on tone, it's still so driven. Even with the decision to remove particular instruments and devices employed to the song, Melancholy Angel still has this potent resonance to it. Again, on score, it's just amazing to me. And again, I've said before, any songs off Pirates would fit perfectly on score grounds of any type of cinematic offering in the movie space or TV venue. For example, again, of any Pirates concepts. There's a perfect immersion to scores that I recognize, and immediately when I see it, it's a charm point of the development of this record. Pirates really is something special of a collection, but to hear this reinvention of Melancholy Angel, which was a great song again by first appearances, and still is, but to analyze the strings exclusively, it's really impressive to see how this number is fleshed out in differentiated tones and prominence, but giving the symphonic respect it's due. And it truly, it just shines with Melancholy Angel. I'd say now, based on present hindsight, it's actually an even balance between, well, really every agent of a song and what delivers momentum to Melancholy Angel makes it such a fun, paced number and an invigorating experience. Another great entry off Pirates, like any piece it was, but analyzing the symphonic face in isolation really is a special opportunity, I think. It certainly paves a fun door for future explorations, right, which we will be taking to the respective In My World and Heal the Scars, and I can't wait to humor those pieces. But Melancholy Angel, what a great reinvention. Well, it's not even a reinvention. It's just a subtle stripping of certain elements to allow for the symphonic to have an ultimate drive. It's impressive, and it's a good decision. Works to the benefit of Melancholy Angel, exclusively. I'm glad I chose that number in particular. I'd love to hear if it's a similar sentiment with you down below, and which pieces on what you've humored so far on Pirate Symphony, if you've experienced it, would you recommend? Do they fall in line with mine? I'd love to hear down below, as well as how you approach, longtime fan or initiate listener. What do you think of this retelling of Melancholy Angel? And again, central recommendation from me to explore that earlier version of a number is worth your time, like the entirety of Pirates is, or Visions of Atlantis broadly speaking. And with the door we just opened, it seems we're headed for a bright future. I have no doubt with Visions of Atlantis. Not at all. And so far, they're proving me correct on that suspicion. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.